Hi everybody, it's Julie, Kansas City girl in a Colorado world. Today is Tuesday, November 25th, 2025. It's Thanksgiving week here in America, and I have the entire week off, and I am finally here with a video update. This is Flosstube number 140. My last video was about 6 weeks ago. I certainly did not intend to be away for so long, but I was traveling so much in October. I traveled 3 weekends in a row while still working full time. So it's been busy. It's been chaotic. But life is good. Life is good. It's just busy. So I have a lot of stitching to show. I did quite a bit of travel stitching while I was gone, and I finished so many things. A lot of them small things, but I did finish a lot of things. I have a lot of these are going to be Halloween pieces because the last time I filmed was before Halloween. So just bear with me. I know personally, like once Halloween's over, I'm kind of over the Halloween stitching. So I get it if you're like not super interested in the Halloween stitching. I will try to like be quick, and also it's not all Halloween stuff. I have not been able to fully finish most of these, but I do plan to do a lot of finishing while I'm off this week. Actually, yesterday I framed like maybe 7 things. So I'm getting some stuff finished, and I'm hoping to film a video maybe this weekend of all the things I've been finishing like on break. So I'm hoping that some of these things I'm about to show you will soon be fully finished, and you'll see them in an upcoming video. But let's get to it. Here's what I was stitching on 6 weeks ago. I stitched from the latest issue, the Halloween issue of Just Cross Stitch 2025. I stitched this little pattern by the Little Stitcher. It's called Little Mushroom Ghost. And I stitched this using the called for DMC floss on a piece of 14 count Aida that I had walnut dyed a couple of years back. And this was like a nice, really quick, easy stitch. I stitched this, I think, on a plane, I believe. So super cute, easy little quick stitch. I'm going to insert a video of another, I think maybe the only thing I fully finished because it was a gift and it has been gifted, is no longer in my possession. So I'm going to insert that now. It is Plum Street Goodness and Thanks. This was a kit from, I believe it was Dying to Stitch many years back, now available just as a regular pattern from Plum Street Samplers. All right, here is my finish. This is using all of the called for material because it was a kit. So I did, you know, it was the called for, I think it was an R&R reproduction 36 count Plum Street blend, I think was the fabric. And all of the called for floss, which came in the kit. It came with the buttons, it came with the trim and the felt. So I just stitched it exactly as it was charted. And this is a gift, which is why you're seeing it now, because I won't have it next time I actually film a video. Also, just wanted to show off, I finally made a project bag. I used Elizabeth Ann Can Stitch, her tutorial, which is so wonderful. It's super easy. It's really quick. I mean, it was honestly, I was shocked how easy it was and how fast this came together. So, this is also going to be a gift. So just wanted to show that before that goes away, but I will definitely be making more of these for myself. Okay, so another thing I stitched, if you're like me, you maybe had a wee bit of an obsession with K-pop Demon Hunters, especially if you work in an elementary school where the kids are all obsessed with K-pop Demon Hunters. So Soda Stitch released, I was like just on Instagram, it popped up, they had this freebie, and it's Derpy from K-pop Demon Hunters. So I grabbed the free pattern. I stitched this on 14 count plastic canvas, and I actually stitched it twice so that I can make a little like key fob bag charm out of this. So I just need to cut this out, stitch the front and back together, and put like a dangle, what are those called? A little dangle charm on it. And then this will be fully finished. And then it will go on my bag for work. So I'm really excited. That was really fun to stitch. It turned out really well, and it was perfect travel stitching. I love stitching on 14 count plastic canvas for traveling because you don't need a hoop or a Q-snap or anything like that. Okay, so the next thing I finished was the Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery Mysterious Halloween Town. This was started, I think I just started this last year, and it stitched up pretty quick. I had like probably like a third of this done last year, so I felt like if I just got this out, this could be like a pretty quick finish. And it was. I think it maybe wasn't quite as quick as I expected, but still like reasonably quick. I think I finished this in less than a week. I'm doing a mix of called for colors, and I substituted, so some of the called for colors did not have the same appearance. Like I think, I can't remember if maybe it was this kind of aqua teal, like in real life, it wasn't quite that tone, at least the dye lot I had. So I substituted some things from my stash that looked more like the cover photo. A lot of it is just DMC and then like some random limited edition overdyes that I had. And this is stitched on 40 count linen. So mine is teeny tiny because, you know, a lot of these you would maybe stitch on like a 32 count. Mine's 42 or mine's 40 count. So it's pretty small. And I did have to make one change. The clouds, the white just was not showing up on my fabric. So I did make those like a gray color instead of a white color, just so they would show up. But otherwise, it's pretty much just stitched with some substitutions to make it look more like the cover photo. I think I'm going to finish this into a project bag. So, and I don't know the color of the linen. It's a 40 count, and it's got like a hint, the tiniest hint of like a grayish lavender to it. Okay, so then traveling again, I stitched some freebies from Shannon Christine. So she has a whole bunch of freebies over the last several years. She has some great Christmas ones. I'm sure I'll do some more this year. I did several last year. But she had some new ones for like fall and Halloween. And there were more than two. I think she had like maybe 5 or 6, but I only stitched these 2. But I stitched these 2. One's called Small Poison Mug and one's called Small Pumpkin Mug. And they're stitched with the called for DMC on 14 count canvas. And these are really little. I think they're like 35 by 35. So they're little things. They stitch up really quick. Perfect travel projects, like tiny, contained, great for travel. So these got knocked out mostly on airplanes. But yeah, those were 2 more finishes from October. So then another project that I took for travel was this kit from Shepherd's Bush. I got this a couple years ago. It's called Fear Not, and I got it at the actual Shepherd's Bush store. It came with like the silk, or I don't think it's silk. I think it's overdyed cotton. It came with the floss and the fabric and a couple of buttons. And so I used just like the called for what's in the pattern, like what was in the kit. And I was able to get a finish on this as well. This was actually really fun to stitch. And went a lot faster than I thought. Not that I thought it was going to take a long time, but like I started it and was like, oh, okay. Like after one day I was almost done. So I was like, oh, okay, that's like really going to be a quick one. which is nice. It's always nice when something takes less time than you thought it was going to take. So that was another finish. Got a couple more. I told you I had a lot of finishes. I stitched Quirky Quaker Witch Hat by Darling and Whimsy. Now this one stitched up really, really fast. This is a small one. It's only 45 by 45. The called for floss is 3 colors of Brennan needle cotton floss, which I did not have. They may have been limited edition. I'm not sure. I don't own them. So I pulled colors from Stash that looked like these 3 colors. Like I tried to get as close as I could. And this is on a scrap piece of 32 count Pub Crawl from Roxy Floss Co. Now Pub Crawl is usually like really dark, but this is on Lugana and it doesn't take as much dye. So this is like a much, much lighter Pub Crawl than what you might be thinking. But I really love it. It's just like a perfect witchy green. So this was really fun to stitch and was a really, really fast one too. Okay, out now. I think we're out of the Halloween. I think, yeah, okay. So it was a full moon at some point in the last 6 weeks, maybe at 2 points actually. And I do a full moon stitch along with a few friends, and I was ready to start a new project because I had finished whatever my last one was. So I started Fox and Rabbit, They Bloom at Night. This was for the Night Garden X Stitch the Rainbow. And Karen, one half of Fox and Rabbit, is in my full moon stitch along. So it felt appropriate to stitch one of her patterns. And this is not a full moon. I am well aware. However, for our purposes, we just stitch on anything that has a moon on it, whether it's a full moon, a crescent moon, a gibbous moon, whatever. We stitch on something that has a moon on it. So I do understand it's not a full moon, but this is what I chose to stitch. So I'm using the 4 Threadworks flosses that came in the Night Garden palette. This released at Market in 2025. And so I did get a finish on this. So it's the called for floss, and my fabric is a 32 count. So this fabric came in a Starlight Stitchery box like at least a year or 2 ago. And so it was a limited edition that they dyed for the box. So I don't remember what it's called, but it doesn't really matter because you couldn't get it now, as far as I know. I don't think they even do boxes anymore. But yeah, this was They Bloom at Night. This was really fun to stitch. Okay, so I have 2 more. Yeah, okay, I have 2 more finishes. So just a short backstory. I was going through my WIP bins. WIP is a work in progress. So basically any cross stitch that you've started but haven't finished. And so I periodically like to go through and just be like, do I still want to stitch this? Like, how am I feeling about this project? So I go through a couple times a year and kind of cull. And to be honest, I've done that so many times over the years that a lot of, I don't pull much anymore because the older stuff that I really don't want to stitch, like I have gotten rid of. But I went through again with a really critical eye, and I was like, rather than just focusing on like, do I want to stitch this? Maybe I should focus on, are any of these projects at a good stopping point, such as like, maybe the whole thing isn't done, but what is done could be made into like a drum or a small pillow, or, like I could maybe stitch a little bit to finish it off, to finish off that section and then call that a finish. Like, do I have any projects like that? And I found 2 that I was like, I'm happy with what I have. I like it. I could stitch a little bit more and like finish up this section and feel good about like, I don't need to stitch the whole thing. So the first one was this old sampler from R&R Reproductions. This is called Designer's Motif Sampler. This is from like 1997. It is old, and I had this whole top half done. I was on the last line of this over one verse. But otherwise, like, I had all this done. And I was like, you know, I bet I could bring this bottom border up, and that could just be a finish right there. And it won't be much that I have to stitch to like get that finish. I started this years ago with my best friend Amy, and because I had bought this at a craft thrift store, and when I opened it, there were two charts. There were two copies of the chart, like including the cover photo, two full copies of the chart in one bag. So I sent her one copy. I was not an inexperienced stitcher at that point, but I was still somewhat newer to cross stitching. And I don't know why I really thought, I don't know why I thought like, yeah, I can totally stitch that, because like, I think that's why it sat like untouched for so long, is because the chart is a nightmare. I'm so sorry, R&R Reproductions, but the chart is a nightmare. It is hand drawn. I'm going to show you because like nobody's going to stitch off this. It's hand drawn. And at first glance, you're like, okay, like, yeah, that's not so bad. But when you like get into these like little over one sections, I don't know if this is in focus for you, but like you cannot tell what these symbols are. And I'm not being dramatic. You genuinely cannot tell. I hope this is in focus so you can see what I mean. You cannot tell what these symbols are. So, luckily, because I started at the top, I hadn't run into any like hiccups like that. But if I kept going, I was going to. And I was like, you know, I was texting Amy. I was like, I have no desire to actually stitch all of this. Like, if I'm being honest, like, I don't want to stitch all this. And this is like tons of grass fill in too. And she's like, yeah, kind of same. So I was like, I think I can, okay, long story long. I finished this. This is the called for DMC. It's on 36 count. It's a vintage, it's a lakeside, I can't remember, I want to say it's something like maritime. Is there a lakeside called Maritime White or something like that? It's just a very simple neutral. So like I said, I had this all stitched. I just had to finish this last line of over one, and then I had to stitch this border. Like I had to stitch a little bit on the sides and then bring this border in. So it took me like a day, and now this is finished. And I think I'm going to make it into a project bag because it's just the right size for a project bag. And I feel very good about that because I don't want to stitch the rest of it. And honestly, I'm not sure I could stitch the rest of it using that chart. I really don't know that it would be possible. Okay, so the other project that I realized could be cut off and kind of abbreviated was this Quaker Gone Haunted by Michelle Ink. Now, I do love this entire design. I do. And as I was stitching on it to get it to like a finish, I was waffling the whole time. Like maybe I will keep this as a whip and just do the whole thing. Like I kept waffling back and forth, but in the end I decided to cut it off up here. So I hadn't stitched either of the roses, but I had stitched the word right here, and I had stitched a lot of this Tombstone Angel. So I thought, okay, I can finish the words here, do these roses, and finish this. So that's what I did. This is on a piece of 36 count coloring cotton. It was a limited edition fabric that came in like a Halloween box years back. It's a beautiful piece of linen, but it was limited edition. It didn't even have a name. It just was limited edition. And these are the called for flosses. And this is my finish. I'm very happy with this. I still love the entire chart overall, but I am happy with this being a finish here. This calls for a couple of Gentle Arts wools and some like, I think Gloriana silks. It's nice. It's very nice. I would have loved to say I was going to stitch the whole thing, but I'm just not. So that's a finish. It's a finish. Okay. So those were all, those were all my finishes. And now I just have 3 works in progress, 3 whips to show you. Because if you can't tell, I was really more focused on finishing things than just working on things. So, I did show this in my last video, but I did work on it some more after that. This is Spellbound by Yanina Designs. So Yanina is Brandy at Bestitch Me. It's her daughter, and she works at the Bestitch Me shop with Brandy, but she also has started doing designing. So she has like, I don't know, 5 or 6 or 7 or so charts out now, and they're all really good, but I love this one. It's called Spellbound. So I am stitching this with the called for Bestitch Me silks, but the fabric is not, the fabric on here is Spellbound, but I'm using something else. It is a Bestitch Me, but I forget what it's called. It might not be available. Like, I think it was a limited edition. I think it came in a Halloween box. And so I don't remember what it's called, but I don't think you can get it. I'm sorry. It looks awesome with this pattern. It's looking great. So I have just been doing a lot of outlining. So this is all going to be filled in. This is going to be filled in. My friend over here, she got cut off a little bit here in the hoop, but you get the idea. I've started the other witch, like, so I'm basically just outlining so that I can pick this up and do fill in as I'm able, I guess. And I absolutely love this. I love this. There is a lot of fill in opportunity here because, like, the witch with the purple, like, there's a lot of purple fill in there. This cauldron is gonna have a lot of black fill in. Like, there is a lot of fill in opportunity once I get it outlined. So that's what I've been doing, just kind of getting it outlined and ready. But I love how it looks on this fabric. It was an inspired choice to go with this fabric, and I'm really happy with it. Okay, so what else did I work on? Well, so like I said, it's almost American Thanksgiving, and I have had this pattern for a couple of years. This is Turkey Trot by Bendy Stitchy, and I just, every year I'm like mean to stitch it, and I just don't like get to it. So I just, you know, whatever, something comes up and I don't get to it. So this year, like in September, I was going through stash and I saw this, and I pulled it out and like left it out so it would like stay on my mind. And I was like, you need to stitch that this year. So I finally did start it. It's not done, but I started it. I'm using the called for DMC floss. But I went a little rogue with my fabric. So you can see it's stitched on this beautiful Fathom linen from Picture This Plus, and mine is on this like marigold yellow. So I went a little wild there. This was a piece of Ada that I got at Stitch North this year. So Jessie at Mislaid Pages put in the swag bag, I think it was there a floss? No, it wasn't a floss. It was just it was a chart and a little piece of fabric in everybody's swag bag, and they were all different. Like one was like an aqua color. This one was this marigold, like crazy marigold. I think this is 16 or 18 count Ada. So it was just the right size to fit this on, and I just thought it would work with this design. It feels autumnal to me. So this is, it's getting there. I've got a lot outlined and a lot of just fill in to do. And it's more stitching than I thought. Nothing wrong with that. It's just a lot of Michelle's designs are like quite small and quick. And so in my head, this one was going to be like a small quickie. I was like, oh, it's gonna take me like 3 or 4 days. Well, this was like 4 or 5 days. And I was like, wow, okay, that is really taking me a little bit longer than I thought. So it's totally fine, but I have accepted that it will not be done this year for Thanksgiving. You know, my thought was like, oh, it'll, you know, I'll start it the week before, I'll get it knocked out. And then I realized it's going to take me a little longer. So it is, it's not going to be done for Thanksgiving, and that's okay. Maybe for next year. Maybe for next year. Okay. And my last work in progress is I finally have started a Satsuma Street stocking. I have wanted to start one for the last couple of Christmases and just haven't gotten to it. So I finally started one. This is Cosmic Christmas by Satsuma Street. And it's stitching up pretty quickly. I feel like, you know, just in a couple of days, I've gotten like some good progress. This is all like fill in. So I have like some green left here. All of this was like one whole football game to fill that in. So I probably have another football game to get the rest filled in, but it's looking so cute. The reindeer look amazing. This is a Bestitch Me Ada. It's 16 count and the color is whimsical and it's an opalescent. And it was used in one of Yanina's designs last Christmas. She had like a little Christmas design or a little wintry design. And so I bought the fat quarter for that, but then it was like tiny. It only used a little piece. So I had all that left and I was like, this will be perfect for my stocking. So this is the called for DMC and this is really fun to stitch. This is what I've been working on the last like 2 or 3 days and I'm having a lot of fun stitching this and I love it. I don't know that it'll be done this Christmas. I think it could be if I focused on this. I think I could finish it for Christmas, but I don't think I'm going to focus on this. I'm going to pick away at it, but I don't think I'm going to like devote like a week and a half straight to get this done. So this is where it is, and it will probably not be done this Christmas, but I am excited that I finally started it. And I might have to implement one of those like stocking Sundays that people do. I think it was Amy Loves Toads and someone else. I can't remember the other person. They were doing stocking Sunday and like to get stockings done by Christmas, even if it meant stitching like out of season. Anyway, all right, that is all my stitching. So I do want to talk about some books. If you don't care to listen to me yap about books, you can go now and you're not going to miss a thing. It's going to be fine. But if you want to hear about some books I've read, including some like new releases, some highly anticipated new releases, like I've got you. I will link below my Goodreads profile where you can see all the books I've been reading. I'm not going to talk about every single one because it's been 6 weeks. I read like really an outrageous amount. I'm well aware. And so I can't talk about like the 30 books I read since last video. So I'm just going to talk about the ones that I have a physical copy of, but it is by no means everything I read and loved. I actually wish I had not waited so long to film and I could talk a little bit more about some that I've read that I don't have a copy of, but it's fine. If you want to, like, you can go look at my profile if you're curious about what I've been reading. I do not leave detailed reviews. I just use Goodreads to track what I'm reading and how many books I've read for the year. And I do give star ratings, but that's it. I don't do like detailed reviews other than here when I talk to you. So anyway, what have I read? Okay, so first, one of the most anticipated releases for me this year was Mate by Ali Hazelwood. This is the sequel to Bride by Ali Hazelwood, which I absolutely loved. Now, I love everything Ali Hazelwood writes. It's just official at this point. I've read everything she's written. It's all 5 stars. I love it all. When she came out with Bride last year, it was kind of a pivot for her because it's a paranormal, like kind of urban fantasy romance. It's not her like classic contemporary rom-com. So I did appreciate that she, you know, took a little pivot there. And it makes sense because she's talked before about like really loving like paranormal urban fantasy. So it makes sense that she would want to explore that genre. Anyway, I really loved Bride. I really, really loved Mate. I think I liked Mate more, I think. I mean, they're very close. They were both excellent, but this is like a werewolf romance. The first one is a werewolf vampire romance. The vampires don't feature so much in this one. This one is pretty much strictly werewolves, and there is a mate situation. A new werewolf is mated to the alpha of the pack, but neither one of them wants the mating bond. So it's like their story of they are physically drawn to each other, but you know, neither of them wants it. So it's them working all that out. It was excellent. I loved it. I loved it. I realize I can't just go on and on about these. I'm going to have to try to be a little quicker. Okay, so I then read Leave Me Behind by K.M. Moranova. This is the new author to me. I'll be honest. I thought this book was really cool. So like the book caught my eye, and I love this illustration. And so I think I was like, okay, like, I don't know, maybe. And I looked up the reviews and like they were decent, and I was like, I'm going to take a chance. I'm so glad I did because I loved this book. Now, even though I own this beautiful paperback, I did read this on audio simply because I didn't realize when I bought this that this book is on Kindle Unlimited. And if you check a book out on Kindle Unlimited, a lot of times you can then add on the audio for a very reasonable price. Not always. Sometimes it's still really expensive, but sometimes you can add on audio for like $2.99, like not too much. I think this one was maybe like add on audio for like $4.99, something like that. So I went for it. I'm so glad I did. The audio was excellent. I really loved this book. So this is like a dark romance. It's very dark, and it's like maybe like a little bit post-apocalyptic world. There's no magic, but it's like it's a rough world that we're living in, and there's an elite like mystery military force, and this girl ends up like joining one of the squads after her entire squad is killed. And she's like, so she's trying to get accepted into their squad, and they're like, you're an outsider, we don't know. So there's this push and pull, and then of course like some of the guys are really hot. So there's this like, it's spicy. I'm trying to think how to describe this. There's a romance, but sometimes you're not quite sure who the romance is going to be with. Anyway, it's dark, and it is not for everyone, and definitely check trigger warnings on this one because there's some crazy stuff in here. But I ate this up, and I recommended it to like one of my book chats, and we ate this up. Look at how pretty. This edition is so pretty. It's so pretty. Anyway, I'm so glad this exceeded expectations. I actually went in like really not expecting much. I was like, well, I hope I like it enough. I did not expect to just be like eating it up, like absolutely like loved it. It's dark, and it's a bully romance, and I like bully romance, but those are not for everyone. So there you go. But I loved it. All right, so Seal My Fate is the third book in a Oxford Legacy trilogy by Roxy Sloan. I picked up the first one because it's set in Oxford and it sounded really intriguing. It's a dark romance, and I loved the first one. Like, I was surprised how much I loved it. They're really short. All three of them are like 220 pages or less. Like, they're really quick to read. So this was just, I needed to finish the series. I didn't love this. It was fine. The first one was really good, really fun. The second one, they just got a little like repetitive. The second one didn't feel that different. The third one didn't feel that different. I was kind of just like, I'm okay with this being done. Like, can we wrap this up? But they are fun. They are very smutty. The first one by far is the best. This did not need to be a trilogy. Like, these books could have been edited down and just been like one book. But I mean, I didn't hate it. I didn't hate it, but like, it wasn't that great. The first one was great though. I will say. First one's great. Okay, so when I was traveling, I stopped at Tattered Cover Bookstore at the Denver airport. It is my favorite local bookstore. And they were having, like, they have a little section where it's like buy two, get one free. And they had all of these like autumn fall romances. So I did buy three of them. I did buy three. One of them I've already unhauled. I think I might have talked about it in the last video, but I got the Honeycrisp, Orchard Inn, and Kindling, and then I forget what the last one was called, but it doesn't matter because it was like very just, like it was fine. It was fine. So I read Honeycrisp, Orchard Inn, and it was fine. I think this one has the highest rating out of all three, but I felt very like whatever about, like, it was fine. It's fine. It's not excellent. It's not super great, but like, it's fine. It's fine. I wouldn't run out to buy it. It was fine. This one I actually liked. This is Kindling. This is by Bonnie Woods, and this one is set in Scotland. And so that probably like predisposed me to like it, but this was actually like, I really like this one. It was something about like the vibe and the banter and the setting and like the small town charm of it. It really worked for me. And like, I loved the writing. I'm very curious to read more by this author. So this one I do recommend. Now, both of these had like some smut, some spice. Like, they're not like Hallmark fall romances. Like, they are steamy. But this one was by far the best one I read of the three. I'm going to keep this one. I'm getting rid of the other two. Okay. The moment you've all been waiting for, but that is simply not true. The moment I'm sure some of you have been waiting for. I read Brimstone by Callie Hart. This is the sequel to Quicksilver, which was like a runaway sensation last year. Now, I got on the Quicksilver train early. I will say, I don't want to be like, I'm better than everybody because I read these like before they got popular. But like, there are, I'm so in like the bookish space that I hear about a lot of these as they're just starting to like pick up some steam. So I do sometimes get in early. Like, I read Fourth Wing before anybody read Fourth Wing, I feel like. But regardless, I read Quicksilver and I loved it like everybody else. And then it just blew up. It was huge. So Brimstone is the sequel, and I did love Brimstone. It's different. It didn't have all of the same charm as Quicksilver, but I very much enjoyed it. It definitely feels like a filler book in that a lot sort of happens, but at the end you're kind of like, did anything really happen to like really advance the plot? Not really. There's like a few little things, but nothing like, I don't know, like it felt like filler a lot of the time. But of course, Callie Hart ends with like this crazy, insane cliffhanger to like make you feral for the next one. I didn't explain, sorry, let me back up. Quicksilver and Brimstone are fantasy romance, dark, super smutty, fae, magical worlds, all the things. So yeah, anyway, I did love Brimstone. That ending did have me shooketh. And I will say, Carrion Swift carried this book on his back. And that's not a spoiler. I'm just saying, like, we all know, we love him. He's amazing. He's a great side character. But like, this book, without him, this book would have been like really just filler of like, okay, what can give us something? I feel like he made this entire book. So if you love him, you will probably love this book. This is my pretty edition. So there's that. And then the last book I'm going to talk about is a little bit of a departure for me because, you know, I really just these days almost exclusively read romance and fantasy, but sometimes I dip my toe back into literary fiction, and if something's like very popular and I'm intrigued, I might pick up something. So this probably 2 years ago, I picked up Hamnet by Maggie O'Farrell because I was hearing it was so good. It was so good. It was so good. So I picked it up and then I never read it. It sat on my shelf forever. A couple weeks ago was like, you know, I need to get some of these books out of here. So I got like on the wait list for the audiobook at my library, and it came up. I didn't even realize this was a movie. It's coming out actually on Thanksgiving, I believe. I didn't even realize they were making this into a movie. And so just throwing out there, I'm not reading this just because it's a movie right now. I didn't know that, but I might. I'm not going to go to the theater, but I might watch the movie. I'm not going to the theater to see it, but the early reviews on the movie are that it is incredible. Regardless, I finally read Hamnet. This is literary fiction. This is it's not what I thought. I knew it was like some kind of like Shakespeare story, and that it was featuring like Shakespeare's family, right? What I didn't realize is that this is really mostly just featuring Shakespeare's wife, Agnes. Shakespeare himself is in this very little. It's all about his wife, Agnes, and their children. And it has like a dual timeline of like when they met and then later in life. And it's not a spoiler. One of their children dies of the plague. And so it's about like all of that. And I understand the hype. This book is really, she really is that girl. This book was excellent. Now, I still don't like care to read non-romance or fantasy. Like that's still just, that is where my heart lies. So I can like take a genre breather, read something like this, recognize the outstanding writing, the narrative, the quality, and appreciate it, and still be like, I'm good. I don't need more. I don't need more for now. Like I am good. Let me go back to my fantasy, please. I need to escape. So just don't expect me to suddenly be reading like only like Booker Prize winners. Like it's not going to happen. But this was truly worth the hype. This book really is so good. It is really good. And that's all I have to say about it, I guess. Like I said, I'll probably go see the movie, but like not in theaters. All right, that's it. Okay, that's all I read. No, that's not. It's a fraction of what I read. I read a lot more than that. You can go look at my Goodreads if you're curious. That is all I have for now. Thank you so much if you made it to the end. I know a few of you did. A lot of people click off, and that's fine. But if you made it to the end, thanks. And I will see you guys next time. Bye.